Shit.
Hello. Can you hear me?
What happened?
I don't know. Something happened. I see somebody's screen. Is that your screen, Robin?
Yeah, we got it all.
I don't know what happened. I just got cut off.
I don't know what happened, but can you guys hear?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what happened. I must have fat fingered something. This is what comes of letting an Irishman deal with this kind of stuff.
Oh dear. Go ahead and click on our screen. There's nothing to. Okay.
Well, I don't know what happened now. Here we go.
Switch to share.
Okay, well, at least we're all here somehow.
Well, we're still here, but I've got a completely different screen.
Yeah, so do we.
I see rock formations and
Try hit unpin video.
Okay, well, I guess we should start. Ray probably will be along.
okay, so let's call the meeting to order. It's 7:01. Good evening, everybody, for our February board meeting. I know we have a few people on. So I'm sorry what happened. I don't know what happened. We had everybody zoomed in, but something happened. I think Robin got a hold of the Irish bottle and something took place.
Well, maybe what I'll do is let me just go out and come back in. Let me end this meeting.
Okay.
Give me a minute to set it up. Come back in. Sorry, David.
Before you do that, on the very bottom of your screen, you see a little green box that says share?
Right.
I see a red button that says stop share.
Okay, yes. If you stop sharing, it might wipe out your screen because we can all see what your desktop looks like.
Say again?
If you could stop sharing with us, we would not be able to see your desktop anymore, and it would go back probably to the way you were looking at before.
Okay.
Yeah, wow, David.
Hey.
Whoop whoop.
Hey.
Wow.
David, I hereby appoint you the Zoom guy. Will, that's the guy you want to talk about. That's the guy you want to talk about your breakout workshops for this district governor's meeting we're going to host in 2 weeks' time. You're on, David, and I'm done.
I think
Beckett, I'm done.
That's Zoom czar.
David, you get Paul Harris Fellow number 22 for that.
Thank you.
That was great. So, Robin, we know what to do next time.
Okay.
Robin's pushing
I
on the
won't. There
button.
won't be a next time. David's taking it over.
Thank you, David. Wow. David, is that something maybe you'll do? Are you going to be our Zoom guru?
Let me move out of my emergency quarters into a real place. That's going to take a little while.
Who's thinking about it? Will, a little nudge from you somewhere, you know. So.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Okay, so,
I don't care who it is, but I need a Zoom czar for this meeting at the end of the.
Okay, your meeting, go ahead.
okay, so 7:03, so welcome to our February board meeting. I know we have a few people on, a few people coming on, so welcome. Let's start and have some committee reports. So I throw it to our esteemed past president, guru of everything, past president, Robin. Do you want to give us a report on at least some of the areas that you cover? And if Ray comes on, he can give us our financial report.
The areas, excuse me, membership. Membership is stable. We've had 2 new members since the start of the year. 1 new member, John Gallant, yeah, since the start of the year. I was hoping he'd come in. Maybe this is John coming in now. And we have Randy Seeds out in California. Attendance, we're waiting on the report. I sent a copy of an email I received about attendance from a local club here in Pensacola, where they're stepping back to requiring just 2 meetings a month. So if you had read that email, maybe we should consider looking at doing something along those lines. But still, it's very easy for us to do our attendance. That's the only thing we have gathered. We got a check for, I think it was 1,400 or 1,500 from the Tree Remembrance, which we have received the money, and Andy will be taking that check together with our e-club donation of 600 and presenting it to Liz Fields, Rotary's Camp Florida at Pets. So we get a good photo op out of that, and she's getting the bones of $2,000, which is not too bad.
That's very good.
That's basically what I've been up to. I've been more involved in other community activities, setting up a thing called Park Run up here, and I posted something about it a couple of weeks ago. And we had a trial run Sunday, very successful. We even had English vacationers that were up here in the area, and they saw that there was a park run, even though it was a test. They came along. So we got a couple of overnight stays in the area. So that's good for us. We've over 200 people signed up for it, and our inaugural is 7:30 Saturday morning. I hope all the 200 don't show up, because, you know, we worked for the first time together as a team last Sunday and we learned a lot. However, we will have people, volunteers coming from Gainesville too, 1 from New York and 1 from DC. All the park run people in the US are volunteers. They get their expenses. They're coming down. They're coming over to help us. So that's what I'm involved in. I'm pretty busy in that just now. That's me.
Good. And I know Ray will come on, hopefully come on and give us our financial report in a little while if he does get.
Oh, and I just got an email, and I've got to respond to Portsmouth in Dominica. They are organizing the handover of the computer room. It's been installed, so they're going to have some kind of ceremony and the press and stuff down there. I just got some emails. They're looking for some information, and I give them that. I was going to go down, but it would have cost $1,500, and because of this park run thing, I need to be here every Saturday, so I'd have to be here every Friday. It takes 2 days to travel down and 2 days to come back for a day or 2 on the ground. And it's just not on. I might go down later on, but that's it.
Robin, can we get some pictures of that computer lab?
Sorry?
Can we get some pictures of the computer?
Oh yeah, they're going to do pictures and video. Yeah, so we'll have that.
That would be good. And also, if we get that, and Will, I don't know if you have a beggar in.
John Gallup is knocking.
That was pretty good. But I was saying that Well,
Yeah.
maybe we can get into our district newsletter, the 6950 newsletter, which would be really good. And I keep on saying that with what Robin went through, I still think it would be great, Robin, if we can, you know, it's still not late, maybe somehow getting this into the Rotarian. I think they really need to do a story on what you went through. So
That's past at this stage. Don't worry
I
about it.
don't know.
Don't worry
It's
about
never passed. I don't think so. But, sometimes it takes them a long time just to do the stories, period. So, but I know John Smart thought that was, you know, a very good thing, and he gave me some connection. But I know with all the stories that go into the Rotarian or that are, you know, go into be featured, that I still think it would be good. So let's, you know, I'll keep on getting the word out, seeing something would come up with that. Because again, even what's happening now with the computers and everything, it's still a story that goes on. And I think maybe now that it's ended in a sense.
Okay, so it just start video here is all I need to do.
John Gallant, welcome.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm here now. Will, okay. Okay.
Great
Good.
stuff. Good man. Welcome. Our new member, John Gallant, from Bel Air, down near Will somewhere. Great to see you, John. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I was playing with the computer trying to get it to work.
That was obvious.
Will called, yes. So it worked out.
Yeah, go on, John.
Why don't we take a minute and go around and introduce ourselves? I know we saw John's incredible bio recently, but why don't we go around and mention who we are? Because John maybe doesn't know as much about us as we know about him. So, Robin, I'll let you start the honors because you are our host. So, why don't we go around and just say a few things about ourselves, and then John can say hello.
Sorry, were you asking me to? My hearing is deadly this evening.
Yeah, I just said maybe you could do for John just a little a welcome and a little bit about yourself, Robin.
A welcome, and then a little bit about yourself, Annie, Robin.
Sorry?
Yeah, just a welcome for John, and
Yep.
then a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go around and each introduce ourselves.
Well, let John introduce himself now. I can't hear too well.
Okay.
So you take it, Andy. Go on.
Okay. Hi, John. I'm Andrew Bernstein. I'm the current club president. This is I'll be going on my third year, and I've been in Rotary for many, many years, on and off for 4 decades. And my friend you see, David Croner, we started about the same time back in the 80s in the Rotary Club of Val Harbor in 6990. In fact, it was David who got me into this club, which is great because the E-Club is wonderful. So I've been, this is my 4th year as a club president between 2 clubs. And I was assistant governor for 4 years in 6990, and just done a lot of Rotary functions and all kinds of committees over the years. But this is new, it's exciting. We're really trying to continue the E-Club, not only get it off, but keep it, certainly going. And I think we've got a lot of enthusiasm. I think getting more and more every day from our members, but also seeing the E-Clubs around the world. One of the ones that I really like, and I think Will has seen, and Robin, is called Canada One. And they have a lot of members, and they do a lot of things around the world. And we have a lot of clubs that we have every quarter. We have presidents from the E-Clubs, I think pretty much of North America. And we have about 20 clubs who participate, the presidents, and we get on and talk about memberships and foundation and everything. So exciting. And as you know, all of us, certainly Robin, I know Will, David, go to a lot of on-ground meetings to clubs and do a lot of things in coordination with our club, but also doing a lot of things with fellowship and working with clubs and a lot of their projects and so forth, including the remembrance tree that Robin does in his area every year. So it's getting more exciting. I think we're finding and picking up some really great new Rotarian members, including past District Governor Will and Alicia. David Kroner's been on here for many years. So tonight, having even 6 people, believe it or not, on a board meeting, it's pretty exciting because Robin will tell you we've had meetings with only 2, 3 people. So we've doubled that tonight. So I think it's exciting just to see more faces on here. So that's pretty good. So I want to turn it over now to David, and he can say something about himself, and then we'll go around.
Well, let's see. I live near Miami, Florida, in a town called Hollywood. And as Andy said, I've been a member for a couple of years. I helped out in the district in a few different functions. Unfortunately, never as a district governor, so I honor you for that, Will. And right now helping RI as the chair for one of the fellowships, and looking forward to seeing everybody hopefully end up in Hamburg this coming summer.
That's great. Oh, by the way, I live in Palm Beach County in Wellington, which is just about 12 miles from Mar-a-Lago. So, you know, on weekends, all the flyovers and everything like that. So it gets crazy around here, but we're west toward the Everglades. So it's a little bit quieter out here, but we're still in winter White House country, so it can be a little bit crazy. So I want to turn it over to 2 of our newer members, but certainly 2 Rotarians of distinction, PDG, Will, and the wonderful Alicia.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. First of all, I just can't say enough about how great the this E-Club is, and what great things we're doing. And I've shared that with numerous Rotarians in our district. So, and I'm real proud to be a member, and Alicia and I are trying to be proactive. On that note, Andy, you want me to go ahead and mention the, or you want to wait on that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This intro. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Alicia.
Well, John, you know me, and I'm your sponsor, as pretty much I think everybody knows, and thank you for the opportunity. I've been in Rotary for, it'll be 2 years June, and I really appreciate the E-Club. Right now, I am heading up the vocational service committee, and we are going to, we have decided on, we've got 1 nomination, and we're going to go forward with that, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but just want to welcome you. We're glad to have you aboard.
Mention your dad.
Well, thank you very much. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, this is rather new. I've worked with other platforms, but this one I was trying to figure out. Thank God Will called, because I was able to figure out all I had to do is press a button and things would come up. And, you know, but I did like the blackout of my face. It looked much better at that point. So, but I enjoy being here. I use the E-Club to make up on many occasions. Never thought I'd be part of it, but I'm glad that I am. Glad that you give me an opportunity to come in, and hopefully I'm able to serve and do something beneficial with it.
Well, it's great, John. We're really excited to have you, and it's great, as I said, to have such talent. And I want to say again, it's really great having Will and Alicia. They've really taken the charge and picked up on some new initiatives. And for any club resident, you know, that's wonderful, because it just makes our job easier. It makes us look good. We don't have to do as much because we have great people doing everything, you know, for the club. So that's wonderful. And with all these things, and I'm gonna throw it over to Will in 1 minute. That's going to be a little bit easier for us as we go forward to try to get this year's presidential citation, because all these things that we are working on as part of all the different avenues that Rotary International and President Barry wants us to work on are really things that we really say, do, and live by every day. And those are the things that we're completing for the Rotary year, for the Rotary citation. So I think with doing all these things, we get closer and closer, or we will get closer and closer to get that citation from membership, foundation, giving, club service, community service, and again, talking about the different avenues of service. I think we are really looking to possibly, get that, or certainly getting very close. And I think will tell you that, depending upon what level we're going to go for and get, I think certainly we can achieve that this year. As I've said before, and again, I certainly appreciate Will and Alicia and everybody tonight, because everybody on the call tonight is certainly working to get this and working on different avenues to get this, including Ray, who's not on the call tonight. As I mentioned, John, in just a few minutes ago, my hope is that we get more and more members to come on, whether it's a meeting or a board meeting, and see what we do and talk about, projects for the club, getting new members, even young members, talk about, community service projects we want to do, international projects, membership, foundation, and all those things. Media is very important, public relations, and so forth. So those are all the things that, we really want to have input on and have our members really step up and do that. So that's what I've been trying to do the last year or two, and this coming year for 2019 and 20. Hopefully it'll be my last year. Somebody will step up and become president. We'll have a nominee and so forth. Robin's done this several years. He did an incredible job. And I think, after this year, 3 years is kind of enough. So we'll find some young or not so young, or young at heart. Could be somebody here or somebody else in the club will step up and do that. I think we have a couple of prospects that are interested, so that will be great. And we'll, get the club up and run, and not up and running, but really get the club to really sustainability, I like to call it. We're really, cooking and going on our own Rotary wheels, and just, chugging along and so forth. And again, there's a lot of great talent out there in the other clubs, as Will tell you, and Robin, even David, because they've been on some of these e-club international calls. And I think for some of the clubs are doing are incredible. And what's really more incredible as we go into this year and so forth with e-clubs now, being around for, certainly well over a decade or more, I think we're not so much a makeup club anymore. We are a club that stands in its own regard. I think that's wonderful, because again, in the old days, if you miss a meeting, you can go to an online club, make up the meeting, go through their agenda, look at the recording, if you pay whatever due or something like that, and you can get the that makeup certificate or whatever for your on-ground club. Today, it's a whole different beast where, we are a club, in our own regard. Rotary sees us that way. And I think for the future, this is certainly a viable, wonderful source that, for Rotary. And again, it's a great way of meeting Rotarians all over the world via the internet. And again, whether it's Colombia or Dubai or, Chile or Germany or whatever, there's so many people to meet who could even be a part of our club. And we've had some members, I think, from Australia and so forth. The only problem is sometimes for them to get onto a live meeting, it could be 12 or 14 hours later. But these are all the things that we're looking at. We're trying to accomplish in our next year. I think we're moving ahead in those regards. So with that being said, again, thanks, John, for being a part of the club. And I know we will love to give you whatever activities and things to work on, whatever you feel comfortable. And again, as you look and see what some of our committees do, and maybe there's something that you would like to do, either committee to get on. If it's something that maybe you want to run that, I would have no problem with it. Reach out to me, Robin, Will, or anybody. Alicia, we would love to get you involved as quick as you want or as slow as you want moving forward. We just are very glad to have you as part of our e-club. So again, welcome and thank you for being on our call tonight.
Well, thank you very much. That was a good. Do you have a synopsis after? Excuse me. I think I'm catching it from Robin. I'm starting to cough.
First of all,
Now you're making me cough. Gee.
You want a synopsis of what?
Well, when you're finished with the meetings, do you have a short synopsis of what's covered, and you know what are you looking for, and what are you expecting from people like me that join your membership?
Well, you have a wealth of knowledge. So, and your background in business and industry and in the different sectors you've been in is wonderful. So, again, I think any of the committees from, membership, foundation, anything that piques your eye or whatever, we certainly could use some expertise or somebody to pick up the slack per se. We have some different committees and so forth, but we don't have a lot of people who've stepped up to be part of a lot of committees and so forth. Some people have come and gone and whatever. So we certainly could, we could sit and chat or whatever. Again, maybe looking over what piques your interest, and we could go from there. And I know Robin has his hand up, so I know he probably has some thoughts.
Well, mostly we find that our people are our members are kind of independent minded, and we kind of do our own thing, but we're doing it together in a way. And we work with local clubs. I work with 12 clubs up here. Go to various functions, go to their fundraisers, help on their projects, or do whatever. But I still have the independence of being an e-club member, which I like. And sometimes we develop that tree of remembrance up here as a project, and I've moved it on to another club now because the first club got tired of it. But I hang with the club, but I'm not a member of the club, and it works fine. And we all get our satisfaction in our own way. So really, John, whatever, as Will said, as Andy said, whatever is your passion, you should follow it, even though you may not have too many e-club members behind you. At times you don't need them. Just the fact that you're a Rotarian and you're going off and doing it is fine. And that's great. That's my 2 cents worth.
That was very good. Thanks, Robin.
Thank you.
Did that. I think, John, if you see, I'm going to turn it over for a minute to Will and Alicia. Will was kind enough to start looking into the presidential citation. I'm sorry, I thought H.E. Karen would be on the call tonight. She said she would call in. Maybe she said she might be having some computer problems or whatever. So she's. I apologize. She emailed me, I think, yesterday and said she would try to come on. I gave her all the information. So if she can make this call, we hopefully will get her on the next. She's been very helpful in a lot of regards. She's really a good assistant governor, and she's really taken initiative with her area clubs. I think she has 5, including ours, working with all our area presidents, helping them and working with them on the presidential citation for the year. So she's pretty adept with that. So hopefully she might come on. If not, I'll fill her in and try to get her on one of our next calls. But Will, if I could turn it over to you, I know you and Alicia have a couple of things that you want to mention and talk about, and I'll throw it over to you. And as I said, I know John listening in could get maybe a little bit of insight too of some areas that maybe even with the presidential citation that perhaps he might be able to help us or work toward with us on that regard. So I'll throw it over to you and Alicia. I know you have 2 or 3 things that you'd like to share with us.
Okay, thanks, Andy. There are three things that I'd like to talk about from a board member perspective. One is a presidential citation. We'll do that first. And then the vocational service award that our club is going to convey. And the third is a all Florida governors video teleconference that I'll talk about myself earlier. And let me just say that Alicia has done the main body of work so far on the analysis for the presidential citation. I'll just let her kick that off, and then I'll go ahead.
Okay, so there is a certain amount of criteria that we've had to work towards. I can go ahead and say quickly what we've already covered and that we need to maintain. The first one would be support and strengthening of our club, which is basically we've achieved that net gain of one member. I could even call that myself. We've achieved a net gain of female members, and we need to maintain that for the rest of the Rotary year. And that's
now, Will, you got to be nice to her, so we don't want to lose her.
I know.
All right.
No, you'd keep her, but she'd lose me.
Robin.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
And to continue with that, we have to have at least 60% club members report their birth dates, and we actually have 99% of our club members have. I think we're shy of one or two club members, and so we're golden with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip to the third one where we enhance our public image and awareness, which we have covered, which we have used Rotary brand guidelines, we've used templates, People of Action campaign materials, or related sources. We continue to establish a partnership with corporate, government, or non-government entities. We work on a project together. Hey, Dominica is a great example of that. And we sponsor a youth exchange student or a RILA participant. So we're golden with that. The one area that we need to focus on is the focus and increase on humanitarian service. We've met one of the three. The conduction of a significant local or international service project. Again, I could stress with the Dominica on that. There's two items though that out of all of them, and I'm not going to take all of our time to go through everything, but the two that Will and I really agree that we are most likely to achieve are a contribution of at least $100 per capita, so that's on average, to the annual fund, and then an increase of number of members involved in service projects.
Okay, John, if I could mention to you, with all of your involvement in the foundation, the Rotary International Foundation, one of the weaknesses, I guess, when looking at the data from our club is that I don't think everybody has given to the foundation, and some have given very little. So, I would say maybe we need put together something that gives some bullets is, hey, here are the benefits of giving to your Rotary International Foundation. And we're in, that's absolutely, that $100 per capita average is certainly achievable. I'm a Paul Harris Society person. I think you are too, Robin.
Yeah.
So that's with the two of us, that's equal to basically 20 members.
20 members, yeah.
Yeah. Just between the two of us, and all we need is, what do we have, 26 members, Robin?
Yeah, 26, 28, yeah, 26.
It's only $600 more dollars.
Yeah.
Really.
Like if all the others gave $50, we'd be there.
Right. So
Pretty
we
easy.
need to lay that out kind of clearly. Hey, why give? Here are the reasons. And we're this close. We're this close to that item on.
Well, I'll be glad to work with you on that. I've been fairly successful at it. One thing that I've always used to make it work, though, is the fundraisers. People participate in fundraisers, and when they do, I always apportion that back through the club, through the members, and disperse the funds that way. And because of the way we did that, we were probably the top giving in the the district. So, and Will, if you're going to drink, at least push it through and share with me.
I'm just my doctor.
A little bit of history on the foundation here. It's never been a very strong point. Although when Suzanne Nielsen was president, she did get the 100% participation rate. But it was like pulling hen's teeth, I guess, for her. Our dues were low, and we used to pass the hat, and it was the same 4 or 5 people would be contributing every time. So when my opportunity came, stepped up to president, I said, look, we're not going to pass the hat. We're going to put the dues up, and everybody is contributing to everything the club does, whether you're in or out. Once you're paying your dues, that's it. And we have stayed away from passing the hat, but members have been generous for certain projects above their dues. And looking at our webpage, you can see the amounts that we give to various charities every year. So our due structure allows us to do about $4,000 to $5,000 worth of giving. And then anything that's on top of that, like the tree, is gravy. So that's just the background of where we are in relation to people chipping in money. We're not a wealthy club as such. And I think we have about 5,000 or 6,000 in the bank, which is equivalent to about as a reserve, excuse me, for about 1 year's expenses if, things collapse or whatever.
But not having a dedicated fundraiser, John, then doesn't give us the opportunity to actually carve out some of that money.
There are different types of fundraisers you can have, though, that might be a benefit that doesn't pick the pockets of the Rotarian. Let me think about it, and I'll send an email, and then Will, you broadcast it. You and I will talk, okay?
Sure, good.
There's a number of different ideas.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if there's 26 members, I owe $100 because I haven't put my money in yet. So that means you only need to raise 5.
Right. Okay, sounds like coffee at Panera Bread, John.
Mm-hmm.
Not tomorrow.
No, not tomorrow. Okay, did you have other?
Well,
Yeah.
Citation?
No, I think we've got a good ball rolling there.
Yeah, that pretty right wraps it up. The 2 areas we need to focus on is giving to the foundation and more member involvement in projects, and I think we can almost.
We're so close.
We're close. We're this close on that. Okay, Alicia.
Okay.
Well, Alicia, 2 things. Just while I have my my old mind going here, but 2 things. First of all, I was thinking 2 things that we talked about. If we could get, for the citation, it has the different areas. Maybe we could do a thing where the things that we've checked off maybe have sort of a green check that we've completed it, and maybe something with an X, a red X, or something that we're working on it. Maybe we could put it in. Ashley's pretty good, with those kinds of things, or we could just be putting it in, every week or, every other week, and let people see. Sort of, I always think of the, what was the thing when we were growing up? The
thermometer.
Yeah, or the feather that went from white to the community. What do you call that? Went from white to red, that you see in the communities, and the United Way, right, kind of thing. And then you saw it grow all the way and fill up. I think if people would see that, maybe what we need and what we already have, that would be great. Also, Will, working with you, Alicia, and I think with Robin, we need to get this into the system. So, all they want is a little blurb, what we did and so forth. I don't know if you guys are good at that, but, or I know AG Karen is, but maybe we can meet, even if we want to meet with her one day, and so we can go in and plug everything into the system. So obviously, the district governor, whether it's, our district governor this year, we'll see that, because obviously they're going to be looking at that, going in the system for each of the club and seeing what we put in there. So I think everything needs a little narrative, what we did, and the goals, we met them, how we met them, and so forth. So I think we need to do it. That's the easy thing. It's just kind of plugging it in, that we've done it and how we did it, and that it's was achievable when done. So I think that would be the thing. So those are the two things. And then with a fundraiser, maybe like you said, working with John, and maybe talking about, I don't know, are we thinking about a virtual fundraiser of some sort that we might be doing? I know you
We'll
guys
talk. John and I will talk about that.
We'll talk about it and then we'll come up and then give you. I'd rather do that so we have something cohesive with the direction.
Okay.
Great.
But as I say, when they see the presidential citation and the different areas, because if you look at it, it has the different areas bulleted and what they are, but that we check them off. I think if people see how close we are and what we need them to do or help out, and then we, kind of mention that in our weekly meetings, we need your help, blah, 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 to do this there and whatever, and we're so close. Or if you see, we, like that feather that we're 98% close, we're almost there, and we need your help to get over the top. So they could see that. I think if they see that in their mind, I think it might be more doable. Just a thought.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, Alicia, to cut you off there, because I know you've got another great area.
Yep. Okay. So the second thing I wanted to cover was I've been working on the Rotary Vocational Service Award, and I put out on the our eClub feed, weekly feed, and as a general email to all the club members for a nomination for anybody that they know in the community that would be a great nomination for our Vocational Service Award.
Non-Rotarian.
Yeah, non-Rotarian. And I had put out the bullet points of the high ethical standards of business and professions, the recognition of worthiness of all useful occupations, the dignifying of each occupation as an opportunity to serve society. And then as I scroll down, the effective use of skills and expertise to serve the community, practice the profession with integrity, along with inspiring others, helping young people to achieve their career goals, and guide and encourage others in their professional development. I maybe should have put out more reminders, but we did get one nomination.
That's fine.
And that was from Will. And Will and I both know, as board members of Recovered Pinellas, we both know this gentleman. And Will, I'm going to have you talk a little bit more about the nomination.
Yeah.
You know him a little bit better than I do.
Right. Yeah, the gentleman is Jason Martino. He is he was 16 years with AARP, and he is the Pinellas Pasco Area Agency on Aging Director of Planning and Emergency Coordination. I know him not from Agency on Aging, but I know him through his incredible guidance, leadership, and inspiration with our local county's disaster long-term recovery entity called Recover Pinellas. And it was Jason who took us as a group of individuals and organizations were working on this long-term recovery issue after some whatever big disaster. He took us from just focusing on Pinellas County to Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough as a triad of counties for something called the Tampa Bay Recovery Initiative. And his work in that has just been incredible. And all of this has been an unbelievable amount of his own personal time, all dedicated to trying to help folks who have no other place to turn after a disaster. And over the several years that he has been both president of Recover Pinellas and working on expanding that initiative, he has also been helping to address other disaster issues as they have come about. The 5,000 or 6,000 Puerto Ricans who moved into our county after the big hurricane hit Puerto Rico, and trying to get them services. He's been coordinating that. So the amount of work that the man has done over and above his normal job description and for the county and the children and the people of 3 counties has just been incredible. And I really feel that he needs recognition for that. So that's why I nominated him, having worked closely with him and seeing what he has done. So that's my input on that.
Well, without really any further discussion, I just move that we approve the nomination and ask Alicia to, we need to do up a certificate. I'll send you a logo that you can use.
Okay, great.
And you can flower up whatever and arrange for a presentation at a local club down there and give the guy his time in the sunshine.
Great.
You know, it's great, and it's a pity we don't get more. I was involved, so up here the last time we got some, but it's great, and it doesn't cost us anything. You're
Right.
giving a guy a little certificate on a piece of parchment paper. Like if you want to frame it, you can get a frame at a flea market even.
Yeah.
And you're really giving that person a great boost.
And we're looking at doing that at perhaps, and we haven't talked to the club yet, but we've attended and we know people in the Clearwater Club. They're almost 100 members. They get very good exposure in the community. So this would be presented at that club on behalf of the
Perfect.
youth, and it would be good exposure for everybody involved.
Yeah, for Rotary, that's what we're all about. Doesn't matter well who gets the credit. It's for Rotary. Yeah.
Andy,
Cool.
I'd like to, if
Go for it.
I'd like to move to the third and final item I wanted to present to the board and discuss where it stands. As many of you know, I've been involved in disaster preparedness and response at the district level and many other places for years. Governor Eloy approached me and said that all 8 governors in Florida, at Governor Eloy's encouragement, are very interested in getting together and talking about how they can have a coordinated disaster planning and response effort among the 8 districts in Florida. And it was particularly brought home after the disaster of the hurricane that hit the Panhandle. So we were doing some brainstorming and Eloy said, well, look, suppose we haven't had this meeting of all the governors. It's just really hard to physically get all these people together from all over Florida at one central place. And I said, well, what about a teleconference? He said, wow, great idea. Could your club host a Zoom teleconference? So I'm in the process of helping with Robin's help and others to put this together. It would be a Zoom video teleconference for all 8 governors in Florida and all 8 governors elect, since they're really the ones that are going to face the next hurricane. And with the objective on agreeing to several points, you know, what should be the Rotary mission? How should a how should a district be involved, and to among all 8 districts to have a coordinated disaster plan, so that we're all working together from the same sheet of music and doing the same thing. So I'm in the process working with Governor Eloy to put this together. We're looking at the February, the last week of February, and we want to get this done before Pets, the first full week of March, where we're looking at the 26th, 27th, or 28th of February. And I'm going to put a note out to all the governors and governors-elects. Hey, guys, pick a date. Whoever comes up with the most dates wins. And that's when we'll host an evening meeting, 7 for an hour, 7 to 8 p.m. And there'll probably be, 2 times 8 is 16 people just from the governors and governor-elects. And then others, everybody in the E-Club is welcome to listen in. And there'll be some other key people. So we're probably looking at maybe 25 people.
We can certainly handle that. That would be great. It's great. It's great for our E-Club to, be hosting it as
As long as we get somebody other than the Irishman to be the technical guru. This is where David Croner comes in. David, we'll have to put our heads together on it, because I'll need your expertise. And we were at an international meeting with Will, or a group club meeting, and during the meeting they were able to have breakout sessions, and 3 or 4 of us were transferred from the meeting to another session. I haven't a clue how to do that stuff. So David, you're going to be in. You're going to be in on this.
You know how to do that, David?
No idea, but there's a few buttons on the bottom of the screen. It can't be that hard to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, somewhere, right?
Yeah, it would be a great coup for the club to be able to put something like this on. Thank you, Will.
Sure.
And
It was
Will,
very impressive with this meeting with Canada One and all of the E-Clubs, I guess, in North America, when suddenly we found ourselves designated and put into a subconference video teleconference. And as we got towards the end of our 15 minutes of time, we got a little countdown clock, and then all of a sudden, magically, we were all back together again. It was a very cool capability. Yeah. So anyway, if we could do that, great. If we can, I think it'd work out anyway. We'll work it either way.
we can work it out.
I'm just really to,
Well, worst comes to worst, we can call up IT with Zoom and talk to one of their representatives, and I'm sure they could walk us through everything. I mean,
sure. Yeah, and it can't be that hard.
Yeah, no, they have technical support and videos, and we could proof it up and talk to them, and I'm sure they could walk us through whatever we need. So, but I think that's incredible. I think we need to put it up on in our club meeting when you get the date that we're hosting, that we are the the host vehicle for that. I think that will be great. And again, Will, thanks to you and Governor Eloy and Alicia and all of you for working on that. So I think that's great. There might be some people from Zone on there, so that will be great. It'll be recorded, and we can talk about that at Pets. And I'm sure walking around Pets saying, "Hey, we were the club that did that." I think a great feather in our. I can even take the video with us. So it's a great feather in our cap. I mean, and we can also mention that when we have the next North American E-Club meeting, because maybe, well, I'm just thinking about it, all the different districts and zones should have that, certainly in the Southeast USA, Caribbean, and whatever, and also in the Pacific area where they have cyclones and so forth. So, and around the world, anywhere a hurricane, earthquake, any kind of natural disaster, you need this. So this is probably 9/10 of the world, and we have a Rotary Club everywhere. So I think this is something that perhaps could be the forerunner of, maybe with zone directors getting involved in the 34 34 zones, and getting involved and having this. So I think maybe we're definitely onto something. But this is, maybe where it started with the E-Club of Southeast USA and the Caribbean. So I think that is an awfully great thing to have for our CAP, and also members, people seeing what we're doing, how it's getting out there and saying, oh my God, I want to be a part of that club. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Robin has a hand up.
David, Hamburg, you want to talk a little bit about it? You're going.
It's a pretty city. Is anybody going?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay, well, if anybody wants to talk about it, contact me.
It's going to be, are they going to have they're going to have the fellowship and everything like they have every year, right? The fellowship, house of fellowship or whatever.
Well, there's going to be a house of friendship, and some of the fellowship groups will have booths there. The fishing will not, because nobody evinced an interest. But I spent last weekend with the stamp chair, and they're going to have a booth.
That would be interesting.
Cool.
David, Will's looking at the clock. Will, one thing, you know, we're talking about the fellowship, all the different fellowship clubs out there, and how I think we heard a little from John Smarch a couple months ago, how that's being more in line with Rotary and all the people who are involved with these different fellowship clubs and hunting, fishing, or whatever. And moving forward, as you know, I think we have, don't we have on the North American Club a motorcycle club, right? That is now an e-club. So that's really moving forward. So the old notion of sort of the fellowship clubs being, you know, sort of sister clubs to Rotary clubs is now taking on a form all of their own. Well, what have you been hearing about that, and how's that moving forward with RI?
In terms of Rotary fellowships,
Yeah.
Andy?
Yeah.
Well, I really don't have any new information with that, other than the fact that, you know, all Rotarians are encouraged to be a member of a fellowship. Alicia and I are members of two. One is the
Yachting.
the International Yachting Fellowship of Rotarians,
Yeah.
and
I'm
we
in
don't
that too.
but we have friends that do now. And the other is the Wine Appreciation Fellowship, which has a little Rotary seal with a little corkscrew hanging off of it.
You got to get Robin on that one.
What about the whiskey drinkers? There's a fellowship for that too.
Sorry, Robin.
Yes.
I don't think there's one for Guinness yet.
I'm
Yeah.
missing out. I need to join another.
Speaking of that, David has been the president of, haven't you, over the years, of the Hunting and Fishing Club, David?
Well, no, it's fishing. The hunting, fishing was split up years ago by the directors of RI, and then they went ahead and killed the hunting fellowship. But that's an ongoing conversation.
And we have another member. Harold Friend, who is in the Boy Scout Fellowship. He's an Eagle Scout.
And that would be
And Randy Seefeld in California is in that with him. That's how Randy Seefeld come to join the club.
And I'll talk to Alicia. I don't know if she's done anything, but maybe spending one of the meetings talking a lot about the fellowship, the history, what's happening with that. I mean, Ashley, she's really good at that. So I think she could talk about that and how people could, get involved, and maybe even list some of those clubs, because I know from I mean, you can find out the hundreds and hundreds of clubs around the world with pretty much anything, from bicycling to parachuting to whatever. Yes, well.
Yeah, Andy, I would suggest we also mention the Rotary Action Groups, which are people who want to take some kind of action on a very focused subject. Like I'm a member of SRAG, the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group. They're concerned with climate change and, deforestation and things of that sort. So action groups are also another opportunity for folks just outside of a Rotary Club to be involved in something they're really interested in.
Will, you just gave me a great thought for our March meeting, board meeting, whatever. Could I get you to maybe that is a great topic that a lot of people don't know about. You could send it out, and maybe some of our Rotarians, some of our members would be excited about hearing something new. Maybe I
Sure.
could get Alicia to talk about that.
Yeah,
And
talk about fellowships and action groups.
exactly. Wonderful. So let's look at that. We'll do that for a March meeting. And if you want to host that and give us a little talk, Rob and I'll set that up with you. And I think that would be great. We'll put it in the meetings. And I think this would be something great for our new members, some which, and again, also another thing that would be great to talk about, Will, because I know you have some, when you talk about RLI curriculum committee, that should be a topic they talk more about, because I haven't taught RLI, I'm a facilitator, I haven't taught for a while, but that's something that we really don't talk about much, and I think it's more and more getting involved. So when you talk to the curriculum chair either in the district or zone for Sunshine District, that would be great to bring into RLI.
Yeah. Also, just as a point of information, the head of the of SRAG, Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group, was invited to be an observer at the latest international climate change talks, and then she presented the results of that. So that was really interesting. So again, Rotary exposure at the international level on something that's of interest to a lot of people. So
that would be awesome. And Will, one other thing I can mention that would be a good topic when we have our next North American E-Club. If I could propose, maybe when we go around the club, I could get you to talk a little bit about that, because I think that's something a lot of the clubs would probably want to know a lot more about and maybe don't know enough about. So that would be great. And since you are, an authority a bit on that, I think that would be great for us to another feather in our cap. So this year we're going to get a lot of feathers in that cap. Okay, David, you've been very quiet. Anything else you want to say tonight? I know unless you have a rotary cold or whatever, or virtual cold, you've been a little quiet. You always got your hand up.
I feel great, and hopefully it's been a great meeting, and wish you all a very good evening.
Well, you too. Thanks, David, for being on. Well, I know we're
Cool. We're on time. We're on time.
We're on time. Anybody have any other new business? Anything? I'm sorry, raised that on here, but again, I thank you having John for being on, and having 6 people on here is a pleasure. You first time in a long time the screen's almost filled, so that's pretty wonderful. So hopefully we'll see more of these going on, and we'll set up a March meeting later on in March. And again, Will, that would be a great topic. John, anything you want to update us with after you talk with Will and maybe Robin? Anything you want to talk about with some of the things that we discussed that you may want to work on? That would be wonderful, and we can continue on with this. And again, Alicia will know more for the presidential citation, I think, in 4 weeks or so, and how close we are, and we can get that up on our weekly meeting and get that chart closer and closer to fruition. I think it'll be great. So it looks like a great rest of the year and into next year. I thank you for all you do, being Rotarians, for all you do here and around the world. Thank you. And for our pearl of the Southeast and the Caribbean, our beautiful club, thank you too. And Robin.
We'll end with the 4-way test, gentlemen.
Yes. Number 1.
First, is it the truth?
Truth.
2.
Will
2.
build goodwill and better friendships.
3.
Will it be good and better for friendships? And 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Right?
Thank you. Everybody have a great evening. Thank you.
good night.
5. Will it be fun?
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
Thanks, John. We'll talk.
Bye, David. Bye, everybody.
Good night. Goodbye.
Thank you. We'll put the recording up on the meeting tonight or in the morning. Cool.
No, I let everybody go and see the State of the Union if that's what you're going to do.